fix a knife. In today's video, we're going to take a tactical camp knife, we're going to fix the blade, put a new handle wrap on it, and also repair the sheath. And we're going to have a great time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to try and restore this Angelo Arms tactical knife. As we can probably see, it's pretty beaten up. Sheath has rusty buttons on it, and it's actually torn there. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do about that yet, but if we take the sheath off, obviously the knife itself is in pretty good condition. It's got a few little scratches and marks along the back, but the blade is pretty dull. It's got a few rolls, you can probably see that shimmering away in the light, and yeah, it's pretty dull. Don't do that with a knife. I'm going to show you how dull it is using a piece of paper. Also, my brother did this hand wrap on it with Paracord. It's not bad, it's functional. It's better than having nothing at all, but it's pretty beat up. It's covered in sand from Africa, and we're going to try and replace that too. It's actually not too bad. It does grate quite a lot on the paper. You can see my previous attempts weren't very good, but it's not too bad. And it would certainly work in a survival situation, or if you absolutely needed a knife, it'd be better than absolutely nothing. But we're going to fix it up. But before we can fix this knife, I have to install this. If you don't know what this is, it's a vise. And I'm going to install it onto my handmade workbench. I made this bench from just a few bits of 2x4, a plywood top, a few wood screws. It's still not finished. I've got to put some support legs further down, but pretty good project, and it's coming along quite nicely. It's time to feed the dog. Guinea bed. Middle. Sit. Okay. Let's get back to work. So the biggest drill bit that I've got is it's a little bit too small to fit the bolt through, but it is good, perfect for the vise. So that's good. All we need to do is find a way to make these holes a little bit bigger. Now I thought about just sort of drilling a bit more with the drill I've got, but I think I'm going to try something else instead. You wouldn't believe I do this kind of for a living. So for anyone that's curious, all I'm doing is I'm just using this kind of like a tap. It's like a tap and die set, so I'm just screwing it in like a bit of a wood screw. Its tolerance is close enough. It's not the best, but it doesn't need to be that sturdy. I just need to get it through, put the nut on, and then we'll keep that vise in place. Screwing in this bolt, which is something you shouldn't do, has made it so hot. Could also be the fact that it's not in the sun. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I spent a lot more time screwing in these bolts with a spanner because I forgot my socket set is at my brother's house before I realised I have the right size socket for my drill. You live and you learn. Well, that's pretty sturdy already. Still going to put nuts on it though. So I had planned on putting these washers on the nut side to spread out the load on the nut. However, because I'm a little bit of a cowboy, I kind of screwed that up. And as you can probably tell, there's no way I'm going to be able to get that onto there, really. It's a no-go. Just nuts it is. There's also no getting around this one. I'm going to have to do this one with the spanner. Oh, if you wanted to do this at home, don't be like me. Be smarter. Do it better. Oh, I'm working up a sweat. Here in the UK, it's about 30 degrees high today. So I don't know what it is at the moment. Probably around 26. Oh, it's pretty hot to be spannering today. So I've got this lovely non-alcoholic beer with a bit of lemonade in it to freshen me up. Well, I managed to get one of the nuts all done up. I'm pretty tired and I'm running out of daylight. Even though the sun won't set for another 2 hours, I want to get cracking with this knife. Come back to this later. But it seems pretty sturdy. It's definitely more sturdy than my table because I haven't finished. So this knife was kind of a gift from my brother. We both served in the military. We went to different places throughout our time in the military. But this is one knife that he got at some point. I don't know exactly when in his military career. It's an Anglo Arms. And it's got this nice serrated bit on the back, and even a hook knife built into the kind of the spine and the tip. He needed to wrap this handle, so he used what he had on hand, which was a bit of paracord, and he just did, a pretty simple design. We're going to try and improve on that. The first thing that we need to do is we need to try and get rid of these rolls and all these sort of chips along the blade. Yeah, the worst chip is just sort of on the tip. But the first method we're going to try is actually one of these. It's just a generic kitchen knife sharpener. This thing has a ceramic stone final polish, tungsten steel sharpen, and a diamond surface prep. So we're going to go through those layers, see how that does to restore the edge on this blade. And if that doesn't work, we will use our whetstone. It's even numbered on top, so you know exactly which one to do first. The problem with using this sort of setup for this type of knife is obviously the tang, or the bit where the tang meets the blade, is quite fat there, and sometimes that struggles to get in, so you can struggle sometimes to hit this bit here. And also, as you run through, because of the sharper radius on the tip, you have to move up with it. So it's not actually working too badly at the moment. So that didn't work too badly. I got like some of the chipping out, but ideally I'd like to hit this with a file. I just don't have them on me at the moment. This is set up more for obviously kitchen knives. It's pretty good bit of kit for just an at-home setup for your kitchen knives, but it's not really the best for this. So we're going to move over to the whetstone. So this right here is my Raven Forge whetstone. It comes in a lovely little box. If you don't know what a whetstone is, it's just a stone we use for sharpening. And it comes with a lovely bit of advertising. I am not sponsored. I'm far too small of a channel to be sponsored by anybody. But I'm definitely not sponsored by Raven Forge. Although if they want to, definitely hit me up. And the unique, or not necessarily unique thing, but the good thing about this particular stone is it comes with a few little extras. One thing is that it's actually got two different sides to it. This is a 1000 grit side, and this is a 6000 more fine side. The negative is you can't really get out big bits of damage with that fine of a grit. The other positive is it comes with a flattening stone. So after you've used it, you've sharpened your knife, you would go run this across, and it would flatten out the stone again, so it doesn't get like a bow to it. It also comes with a knife guide. This is the knife guide. Now again, this will only work with certain types of knives, but it's pretty versatile. And what you do, if you're not too confident at using a whetstone, like me, you can stick this guide on. And there you go, you've got a nice little guide that sits against the whetstone. Just like that. However, it is only suitable for certain types of knives. Like I wouldn't be able to do the tip with that. But yeah, aside from that, really good tool for getting you to practice and learn. It also comes with this nice rubber base. So it'll stop the whetstone from sliding around, because you don't want to use it while it's in the box. Because if you haven't used a whetstone before, there's one thing that you need to know about whetstones. They need to be wet. And we're going to submerge it in a tub of water, and you can see that it's all bubbling up. Yeah, so we're getting all the bubbles out of the stone, all the air's coming out of the stone. And realistically, we want to leave it in that water until there's no bubbles coming out of it. At least that gives us a chance to enjoy this lovely British evening. Freddie has come to join my very small and very messy workspace. Yeah, I don't have a lot of outdoor space to be doing this. The one positive of working in such a small outdoor space is it goes to show that you don't need a huge amount of space to be doing sort of these activities, and anyone can do it. I built this workbench just out the front of my porch. Probably annoyed my neighbours a little bit, but I built that with just a handsaw and my drill. So you can get these projects started pretty cheap. So the whetstone is pretty wet now. There's no more bubbles coming out of it. That means it's ready to go, and we're ready to sharpen it. Put it in our handy little holder. So we're starting off with 1000 grit. I'm not going to use the guide because I like danger, and realistically I need to get better at this. One trick I did see online, if you're not very good at using a whetstone, is you can take a Sharpie marker and you can just colour in the edge, and as you sharpen the edge and your angle changes, you can just have a look and see where the Sharpie marker's coming off. So you can see I'm a little bit off there, so I just got to adjust my angle and give it another go. It's also important throughout this process to continue to just wet your stone. Another benefit to using a whetstone is it's just cooler. I mean, I don't know why, man like sharpen knife with rock. You can see just on the tip there's still a little bit of Sharpie, but there's none on the rest of it, which indicates I missed a spot. Gotta go hit that. I went too far. The longer you practice this sort of thing, the better you're gonna get. I'm definitely a beginner, but hopefully doing this one means I'll be better for the next one. Well, we did one side and it went pretty well. Definitely some improvements to be made in my technique, but we flipped the rock over, we've given it another bit of a splash, make sure it's nice and wet. So now we're going to use the 6000 grit. So every now and again I'm just taking the knife off of the stone and just checking the edge and just seeing if it's even. When sharpening any knife, after you've used a stone or a sharpener or a grinder, whatever you've used, you create a burr, which is kind of a really fine bit of metal right on the tip. Now you need to strop that off with some leather. and it just really horns that edge, horns the edge. I don't have that, so I'm just going to kind of like wipe it on my shirt and hope it achieves the same thing, which it probably doesn't. Well, that's sharpening done. Now, it's not perfect. I could have definitely done a better job, but the main point is it sharper? Oh yeah. Ooh. So that just goes to show, if I can make a blade sharper, you can probably make a blade sharper too. I've only used the sharpening stone one other time on my cap knives. I actually gave up because they were too thick and I just couldn't get an edge on it. That was, you know, better than the one it already had. But with something small like this, you know, definitely consider a whetstone and give it a go. And if not, like I said, there's always the cheaper options out there, and they still work. They're just not going to be as, you know, refined, as good. But one important thing that we do have to do is give our whetstone a bit of a rinse. And we need to make sure that this dries fully before we put it back in the box, because it's absorbed a lot of water, and we want to do that out of the sun. It's really important that you let that stone dry out before you put it back in the box, or you'll ruin it. It might take 24, 48 hours. I usually just leave it out for, you know, 1 or 2 days, and it'll be pretty bone dry after. Freddie's just having a great time. I'm also trying out some new microphone kit today that my brother got me. He bought me this little mic setup. But let me know in the comments if it is better, because I know in the last video I did have some issues with audio. Now to think about it, my brother said that I think he broke the handle on this. You can see where there was obviously holes for some pins to keep the handle on. If you guys want to see me do a wooden handle, let me know and I will get the things and that I need to do that. So obviously we didn't do a great job on the blade, but I'm still pretty proud of it, and we need to protect that. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So there we go. The blade is now protected from, you know, if I drop it or damage it in any way. Well guys, it's getting pretty late. I know it's still quite light outside. It is the middle of summer in the UK, so the sun doesn't set until about, you know, 9:30, 10ish, I think. So we're going to call it a night for now, and we'll pick this back up tomorrow.
Day 2.
Well guys, it's another day. Just got back from work, so we're going to continue on our knife project, and what we're going to do is we're going to work on the handle, and what I'm going to use is this paracord that I've got left over. But first of all, I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to need if you wanted to do this. Obviously you'll need your knife, paracord, a lighter, either scissors or another knife, something to protect the blade and yourself, and some sort of cutting board is also pretty useful. And we're just going to carry on just like that. So the knot I'm using for this handle is pretty simple. It's called the West Country Whipping knot. So I've already done this side, so all I'm going to do is I flip the knife over, I bring the right hand cord under the left hand cord, and then that right hand cord goes through the loop on the left. And then we just pull it tight like that. And then we flip the knife over and repeat the process. If you guys want to see a more detailed video of how to do this particular hand wrap, this particular knot, let me know in the comments. Same if you want to know how to make this paracord bracelet. It's the exact same paracord. Really, really easy and really, really practical for camping. Keep Not the sharpest scissors in the world. So, there we go. Nice paracord handle wrap to match my paracord bracelet. Like I said, if you want to see how to do these projects step by step, let me know in the comments and I'll think about doing a video about that. Next thing I want to work on is this sheath. It's not in great condition. This sort of safety clip is pretty tattered and worn up.
Day 3.
Well guys, I had a night to think about what I wanted to do about this sheath. Now I would love to make a brand new one out of something like, you know, either a similar fabric or leather, but I thought leather didn't really fit the, you know, tactical vibe of the knife. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and salvage that. But to do that, that meant I'd order some bits. So there we go, a sewing kit and some new buttons. Well, it's not perfect, but it's better. Full disclaimer, it's been a long time since I sewed anything. And it doesn't help that the thread I chose to use was black, so I couldn't actually see where I was going. But pretty secure. And I think that'll do the job just nicely. Last thing I want to try is seeing if I can clean up these buttons a little bit. They're just a little bit corroded. Well, it seems to have worked okay, but we end up with a lot of rust dust or corrosion dust on the strap, and it ends up scratching up the surface pretty bad. So I think I'm just going to leave the buttons in here as they are. Well guys, there we have it. We also added a nice little loop at the end, just done with a wreath knot, and then the ends melted just as we did before. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way that came out. Like I said, really simple project. The knife didn't need much work. It was in pretty good condition, all things considered, given the history of the knife. You know, definitely a project that you can knock out, you know, in a Saturday, over a weekend. You know, I mean, this was like 3 evenings for me. You could probably get it down to 2 evenings after work. I had to wait for some things to arrive. But yeah, not too difficult. Don't need too many tools. Overall, really fun little project. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Freddie loved it. And if you did like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to try and get these videos out as quickly as possible. Until next time.